This episode is brought to you by Indie Film Hustle TV, the world's first streaming service dedicated to filmmakers, screenwriters, and content creators. Learn more at indiefilmhustle.tv. Your first feature was called Bullets, Guts, Blood, and Octane, which arguably was arguably one of the best titles to come out of the 90s, I have to say.
Well, I hope so, dude. Maybe not the best film to come out of the 90s. But again, brother, going back to this is a movie that I was in. We made for like $7,000. It was designed to kickstart everything. I think, unfortunately, we got caught in the massive wake that Tarantino had created, and no one could do a crime genre film of any kind without the immediate supposition being, well, it's Tarantino, as though that genre never existed prior to Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. So that always kind of rankled me because there's Used Cars, Bob Zemeckis in there, there's Glenn Ross, there's all these kind of influence, Moore Leonard, there's all that shit. But watching it now as a much older guy, I think the writing is great and it's funny and it's goofy and it's amateur, but it works. And it's like, it just I never thought it got a fair shake. And I think I've had one of those careers, dude. I think it's always been, and you sit here and go, well, I never got my due. It's not about getting your due. I just always think I was misunderstood in certain ways. And it took movies like The Gray to go, oh, I guess the guy is serious about, it's like, I just don't like to do the same shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I think sometimes that, because it's not, I've always said this, I'm not interested in making movies. I don't give a shit if they say anything about me in 50 years. It's like, I want to make stuff I enjoy and stuff that, that for whatever it is, but I'm certainly not curating a career. I'm like, I think about it very much. I came from, a lower middle class, middle Michigan kind of, and you're lucky to be, hey, you pulling a paycheck doing this. I mean, my mother says to me, well, honey, at least I'm glad you got your degree. It's like, Mom, I think I'm okay.
Well, you make this film, and from what I understand, you shot it on 16 and edited it on video. So I'm assuming you edited it on 3/4, or did you do?
No, brother, I edited on an M2, the Panasonic M2, which was the cheap. Wow. Oh, I know, dude. The horror. I know, bro. I know. Bro, you look like you just saw like a photo.
Because I actually did some research, and is it true that you edited on the Pinnacle DVE?
No, brother, I edited on. It was the Fast. The Pinnacle, the Fast. It was the precursor to the Avid. But I'll tell you this, dude. To me, to this day, that interface is still better than Avid's. It just is, because you could drag and drop. You could do all this, which you can on Avid. But to me, and again, dude, I'm cutting right now with Kevin. I've cut in every one of my films. I've cut sequences or scenes, or I've done because I cut this movie, Blood and Guts. I cut it all myself. So, I still understand. I love editing. To me is like writing, right? It has that same kind of effect. But it's never, that was so, the ease of use on that was so great. And so, but it was, I don't even know if they're still in business, dude. It's like, no, if they're still making.
I think they are. Like when
5-to-1 compression rates and it's dude, it was just, brother, listen, when you just think this is the way people are going to see the movie, you're not, oh, fuck, make it black and white. I don't care. Who gives a shit? And again, dude, the theory being creatively that shit ceases to be shit if it's moving fast enough. They're not going to realize they made it for no money. The performances are, a bunch of kids, blah, blah, blah. So it was, you just had this kind of devil may care attitude about the editorial thing. And then they go, oh, now back to film. Oh my God. So I had to go, everything had to go back to be transferred. And then I had to have an IP, then I have an IN, then we had the negative cutter, and then we had, oh my check. It was like, oh my God. And this is back, dude, photochemically, this is how you had to color films. You didn't have the Da Vinci. You didn't have couldn't go into like, what's your LUT? What the fuck? It's like, there's too much cyan in this one. There's too much magenta. And, but you did it. You went and screened reels. So it was a totally foreign, but yet I'm glad because I got the tail end of that. And it was great education that I wouldn't have had. Like over the last, with film school, we're still cutting on a camera. It's like, oh, okay, but that's gone, bro. That's like,
no, that's nuts.
But I'm glad I experienced. Yeah, no, it's crazy. But yeah.
And the other thing I heard from you is about the story about Blood and Guts was that you actually used all the TV station you were working at, all their gear and all of their lights and anything you can grab a help without their kind of permission, or they frowned upon it.
the guy I mentioned earlier, Andy Crittenden, gave me permission. Then he took a job at Fox. Well, I asked for forgiveness and permission now because I'm not going to go back to the GM of the station. And then literally that Saturday as we're shooting, the GM of the station walks into the conference room where we all are sequestered shooting this scene and basically said, well, I hope somebody's making money on this. But he never shut me down. Elliot Trushinsky, who's a really lovely guy. And years later, I'd done Smoking Aces and ever. I was at this really kind of nice Mexican restaurant in Sacramento, and my kids were still up there. And I saw him and his family having dinner, and I bought him all dinner, and he had no idea what the hell was going on. And he came over, and he was so lovely, But I'm like, hey, dude, that was a brilliant thing you did for me, and you never like shut it down. You never you could have, and you didn't. So I was dancing between raindrops, dude, on that particular thing. But yeah, dude, it was all brother. M2 machines, digitized. Would tell my then wife on a Friday, I'll see you Monday morning, or Monday night. And I would work through and bring a change of clothes. I slept under the editing console on 1-inch stacked reels. That's how I'd sleep, and just cut, dude, just to get this goddamn thing done. Because I thought, if not now, when? And if not now, never. You know what I mean? It's like it was one of those deals.
And then so you do this film for $8,000, right? Then you get into Sundance in the midnight screening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get into Sundance, and I see the trailer, which is so brilliant. That trailer that you edited for Blood Guts is like, how did an $8,000 movie get into Sundance? And you just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, man,
we did all our own marketing, dude. We did all this kind of guerrilla marketing. Yeah. And by the way, dude, like my buddy, like Kevin Hale, looked like he's smuggling heroin through the airport and was selling kids to the gypsies. I mean, it's crazy, dude. We went way over the top in these little kind of vignettes, but it was like those kind of that vibe was what we needed to have happen. And it was because we were just lucky to get anything, dude. It was like, bro, the idea that it was going to play theatrically was nuts. So that in and of itself was just a gigantic victory for us. And everything else after that was great. And I thought the first screening at the library at Sundance was kind of a disaster. It was fine. But I thought the second screening, which was in, God, where was that little area where it was the Holiday Village Cinema, I think. Mm-hmm. That one was a bunch of snowboarders, and they loved the movie. It was a very different crowd. It wasn't the film crowd. It wasn't the cineasts. It was kind of like the guys just coming off the slopes of the snowboard. They loved it. And so, but it was the Sundance experience. It was like that was at that time, brother. And I don't know if it's the same now because Sundance is a very different place. That was the goal, man. That was the Sundance Film Festival was it. You got there and you were on your way. I think that was the first time my mother saw Robert Redford in a restaurant. She's like, oh, I think maybe, you could make something of this, honey. It's like, yeah, Mom. I think, we'll see. It's like, that's the goal, Mom. That's the goal. I don't want to move furniture the rest of my life. So, yeah.
And the funny thing is, my dad still doesn't know what the hell I do. I took him on set one day on a spot. Yeah, they're like, do you make money? You're obviously doing well enough to own a home in Los Angeles. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Have a family. You have 2 girls you're taking care of, and yes, right. You don't seem to be engaging in high-end bank robbery, and right. So yeah, dude, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, kid.
Yeah, because that generation, that generation's
like, hey, the less I know, the better.
It's so funny because that generation's all about if you don't work in a factory, if you don't bust your ass for 9 to 5, it's not a job.
Oh, dude, it's not a job. What are you doing?
Writing.
I don't understand it.
Writing.
Wait, what?
What?
Writing. Write what? Yeah.
I write. I don't get paid to write.
Gorilla's got this great. He's got this great. Gorilla's got this great story about he and his dad standing on the patio of his place in the Palisades, and his dad's looking. He's like, "You got this from acting?" He's got this beautiful kind of sprawling pad in Pacific Palisades. And it's like his dad, from acting you got this? No, I've been knocking off 7-Elevens. Yes, from acting I got this. It's but dude, it's a generational thing, brother. It's a generational
It is. And I think the generation coming up behind us, our daughters and that they are so aware of everything. They know about being online, and they know about followers, and they know about building content, and they are so much. They're just exposed to stuff that we weren't exposed to. So
they are. And I think that's the thing, is to try, for me at least, to slow that down, because I'm so terrified that overload is very real. It's very real, and it's scary, and it's kind of it's it's pervasive, and I can't
agree
think
with
of any
you.
other.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I try to do everything I can, but then they see what I do, and and they're just like,
Exciting. Yeah.
they're just like, they Googled me the other day, and they're like, Daddy,
Right.
like, people know who you are. I'm like, look, man, I am nobody. In the grand scheme of the world, I am nobody. but yeah, there's a few people who.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
Like, I'm not Obama. Like, I could walk the street. Like, everybody in the world knows who.
Dude, think about this, bro. Think about if you couldn't. That's always because I've watched that happen to friends of mine. Listen, I watched it happen to Chris Pine. I watched it happen to Bradley Cooper. I watched it literally happen to them in real time where they couldn't be themselves anymore, and like they had to deal with being constantly bombarded and constantly inundated with requests for autographs, requests for pictures. I remember sitting at Dorchester having dinner with Bradley Cooper, and this woman comes up and says, "Can I get your picture?" He says, "Oh, honey, I'm right in the middle of." He's trying to be cool. I'm right in the middle of a meal. She goes, "When are you gonna be done?" And just kind of posted up there. I'm like, "See, I don't have the time." I'll put this fucking fork in your hand. How about that? And then it's like, are you out of here? Get the fuck away from the have some respect.
I know, dude. It's insane. But you're right.
I've seen someone's, like, come on, man. It's just ridiculous. But,
it's insane.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't. I get recognized once in a blue moon. It flips me out, dude. It flips me out.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, when I was talking to Albert, he was Albert Hughes. I was talking to him the other day on our show, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, I was at Planet Fitness, and some dude walked up to me. He's like, hey man, I got a script. Like, he's on the treadmill, and he's like, well, I'm in the middle of working out. He's like, all right, and he waited. He's like, I'll wait till you're done, and he just stood there next to him.
Dude,
and Albert was like,
say, man, go through CAA. I can't. You got to go through the agency. I can't, because if I read one page and somehow I put, a guy walks into a store, I ripped your script off. It's like, okay, you can't do that.
It's insane. It's insane, dude.
And I get it, brother. I get the hustle, man. I do. I get it. But
it's a right way to do it. But there's a right way to do it. Like, look, man, I literally got the word hustle on my shirt and on my hat. My whole brand is about hustle. But I've been yelling and screaming from the top of the mountain. I'm like, look, guys, there's a way to do this. And there's a way to approach people, and there's a way to do that hustle and respect it, as opposed to like calling somebody at their house or dropping off a package at their house or there's ways of doing it. And
dude, it's creepy. I don't want you coming near Mike. Don't do that. It's like that's not for public consumption anyway. I don't want you to know where the fuck I live. It's like, come on, man. Any more than you would want me to know where you live. It's like, it's creepy, right? It's like, so. And I get it, dude. Listen, part of me is always cut with this kind of sympathy of, all right, I get it, man. It's like, it's brutal. It's trying to get stuff. But the idea that I'm just going to jump right into your screenplay and change your life, and it's like, I'll say to you, how many scripts did you write? First script, write another one. What are you waiting on? Don't sit around, the coffee shop waiting for this one to take flight. Write another one and work. And you got to work them. You got to multitask these things. You got to
absolutely.
Keep them all, keep all of them moving and shaking at different. You have to. You have to. I still have to. Everybody does, and you should. And I like that. I like that experience. I'm used to it. You know what I mean? And it's comforting to me, as opposed to just having stuff kind of float in and here you go.